Hello there. How you guys doing? And just for the record, yes, I have dealt with replaying the game. Well, part since the last save. So, that should be solved. Hopefully. Good morning. But yeah, it's a bit of a process. So yeah. Yes, I need to save more often. I know. But I'm working on it. Um, Even while replaying it, it crashed at least once. So, hello, how you doing? You're saying hello to the green screen. Well, hello green screen. But yeah, I'm still trying to get all the settings right, so it's a work in progress, it's fine. Still, the light setup is a bit different, and once again, if I move my arms too fast, I get a white border around my hands. So, yeah, it's not perfect. But then again, it's also very obviously not the same setup, so yeah, it's fun, even if it's not perfect. Um, but yeah, stuff is going all right. Glad I managed to get to that point in the game. Um, Speaking of the game, the part where I got stuck last time, so walking into the church where she phased through the door and then got stuck walking. The door is locked. So, well, just thought that was a bit ironic. So, a locked door crashed the game. It was just too intense to simulate the lock on that door. So, no clue. It's a silly game. And very crashy. The other part where it kind of crashed was when I was handing in the document, the what's it called? The train release document thing. I was trying to hand that in, but what went wrong with that is while getting it out of her while putting it back into her pocket, she got stuck on an endless loop on that animation of putting it back in her pocket. And I could still save at that point, so I did. And when I reloaded, the document was just gone. Because she never finished putting it back in her inventory. Very functional game. 10 out of 10. Anyways, I'll have to save a lot today. So, I'm hoping I won't forget. I'm hoping I won't have it crash all the time. But we'll see. Isn't that exciting? Anyways, I'll start up the game. And let's hope it doesn't crash. So, there. It's a good day. Well, is there anything special happening, or just in a good mood today? thank you for the host. How you doing? I was going on about how this game is rather crashy because it crashed yet again while replaying it, so sure it's going to be a fun stream. So, let's see. Couldn't do anything over there. And I think the house was over on this side. So. Yeah, this door is locked. I mean, I guess I can try it now, because I'm right at the save point, so. Well, should be fine.
Nope.
Still locked.
It's locked.
Haven't talked to the guy on the bench in a while. I think I've got some new topics to talk to him about. So I'll do that. And after that, well, I could also head by the bakery and try and talk to that guy some more. But at the end of the day, I just need to go to the notary and figure out how to use the stamping automaton thingy that I saw last time. I mean, I already called it the first time I saw it, but I'll be using that accept stamp automaton thing. And, well, hoping the key I found is the correct one for that. Because I think I was missing a key. But we'll find out.
Hello again.
If you have 5 minutes to sit and talk, I could tell you a thing or two about the olden days.
I am sorry. I really am in a hurry.
Okay.
Tis a pity.
So, that still doesn't work. He doesn't want to hear about the olden days. So... I mean... I could try and stay a while over there, but I don't think he's going to talk to her, because she already told him not to, basically. So, I don't get an option. I'm actually quite curious what he would say, because this place is bizarre.
We're closed. Try tomorrow.
Oh, fair enough. I've never played Diablo, so... yeah. But I'm sure there are other people around who can appreciate Diablo jokes. Just not me. So... how do I get in there? Can I just open the door now? Or do I show it? Oh, okay, I can just open the door now. Yes, it feels like everyone except me has played, well, most popular games. So... what else could I do except just try and get that machine to work? I think it's that one. Yeah, okay. Is the other guy back? I just want to check if there's other stuff that I'm missing. Yeah. Oh, that's the door again. Whoopsies. Front door, not the other door. I want to go to the office of the... what's his name? The notary guy. So, I'm pretty sure he had a name, I just can't remember it.
Oh no, I forgot the notary will be resting.
Okay, he's still resting. He was working for like 20 minutes maximum today. And he spends the rest of the day resting. Sounds like a great job, to be honest. I want one of those. So. Train thingy. There. Push the button. No. That button. No. Oh, what's that thing? Can I use the key on there? No. Can I use the cylinder on there? No. Ah. Seems like there's something I have to do with that top hat that opens. So, how do I do this? Seems like I'm missing a part. There. So, I guess I might have to put ink in there? Or some sort of fuel. Or key. So, question is, which one of those is it gonna be? I don't know. I've already tried clicking it, but it doesn't do anything. So, I don't think so. Can't seem to move the stamp. So, giant cogwheels? No. I mean, I didn't think they'd fit, so. Not too surprised that that didn't work. Okay, so I can't leave it there. Which means the on switch for this thing isn't somewhere else. But yeah, it looks like it would be a button, but it doesn't work, so... There's that. Not sure if the clock is moving. Yeah, that would be a bit easy, but... With this game, it feels like, they went for not adding any easy puzzles. So... I'd say they could have done, like, a more, it would have been nicer if they added in some easy puzzles to mix it up. And not just have every single action be some big puzzle that you don't get enough hints for. So, yeah. It just seems like they didn't really balance it right. You know what I mean? Like, either way, I don't think any of these are going to help, because I don't think I can get the ink off of the fax, or the brochure, or the newspaper, or the letter, or the train ticket. So, I don't think any of those are going to help. And I don't think the music cylinder would be the way to go. So, what am I even looking for? Still think it might be ink, but where would I even find it? Do I have to make it myself? Somehow I doubt that they saved easy puzzles for later. They might have saved the more difficult puzzles for later, and these are just the easy ones. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, this is my third stream of this game, and I'm still in the first area. It's only the start of the third stream. Either way, it's taking a while. So... I'll get to enjoy these graphics for a while. It's a different style of puzzles. Sure, we can do the poll. There. There. Yes. No. So, that should work. And back to the game. So, I could try the hotel again. It could be something I've missed. So squeaky. No.
I'm back again.
Miss Walker?
Actually, I think I have more topics to ask about. I don't know.
I'm going to have to extend my hotel reservation.
Stay as long as you need to. Really, it's no trouble. We're delighted to have a little bit of life at the inn. How many extra days will you be staying?
I really can't say. I'm just not used to this sort of situation. It's so unexpected. First the alive person dies, next the dead person comes alive.
It is indeed a very unusual situation. We have a cousin who has an inn in Bremen. He has problems with ghosts. Imagine, the ghost refuses to leave his room. The only way to move him was to give him a bed in the attic.
It seems that the ghost I'm looking for hangs out in Syberia.
Well, that is very unusual. Please, do stay in the room as long as you wish.
If only I had a wish.
It seems, most of you agree that I am in fact not a robot. Good to know. So, is she going to introduce herself again if I go for that
Hello.
one?
My name is Kate Walker,
Yes, yes she is.
Of
Wow.
course, of course. Walker, room 6, next floor up.
I think I'm going to need your help again.
Are you leaving already, Miss Walker? Should we bring down your luggage?
No, I'm not leaving yet. It's just that...
We would love to help, but just think what would happen if the telephone rang, or if a fax arrived, or if a customer came through the door. We don't have 5 minutes rest here. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay, no biggie.
So,
I have been led to believe that Hans Vorarlberg is still alive. What do you
I'll just
think
go
of it?
through all the options.
Nonsense. The young Vorarlberg died in an accident at the age of 18. The whole village was shocked. I can still remember my mother telling me the horrible details. Go take a look in the cemetery if you don't believe me.
Who knows?
There's a train at the station platform. Can you tell me where it goes?
No idea. We don't even know if it works. I thought it was some kind of prototype.
I mean, it is some kind of prototype, so... He knows plenty.
Who is the boy who was drawing here earlier? Is he your son?
Heaven forbid, no, not at all. He's not a bad boy, no. Momo is just a little simple, that's all.
What is his connection with Anna Vorarlberg?
Momo is what you'd call the village idiot, and Anna took him under her wing. He must have reminded her of her younger brother, no doubt. And birds of a feather stick together, don't they?
You're implying that Anna Vorarlberg was a little bit slow as well?
Heaven forbid. No, not at all. She was a real loner. She kept to herself, that's all.
Yeah, it is definitely tricky.
I just love all these little mechanical robots. I've noticed there are tons of them here in Valadiland.
She sounds like such a tourist.
Careful what you say. Vorarlberg automatons are not robots.
Yeah.
If
No news there.
Did you know Anna Vorarlberg yourself?
Oh, why, of course I did. I mean, well,
Okay.
I'm gonna go look around.
as you like.
So maybe there's something in her suitcase that would help. Or maybe there's something in the other rooms now?
No need to go down there.
I'm still not sure if all these rooms are just there to...
No need to go down there.
add more places that you can't go to. It just seems odd. Suitcase.
I don't need that for the
No.
time being.
Okay. That door.
No need to go down there.
Okay, she still doesn't have bodily functions. Anything else? Don't think so. And she also can't sleep, I think. Would be weird if she acted like a human. So I guess what I'm looking for is somewhere else. Just don't know where exactly. Might be the church though, considering that's the new place. So, maybe the room off to the side. It's just suspicious to me that it basically just unlocked recently-ish. It wasn't unlocked right at the start because of the funeral. Now it is. Which makes it seem like there's something there that I need to complete this area. Otherwise, that whole detail of, well, it not being accessible at the start doesn't make much sense. So I'm guessing the door is still locked. We'll see if it's going to crash this time, but I haven't made any progress to lose, so... Bye.
No point. It's locked.
No, I don't. I guess I could check the graveyard. The guy at the hotel did mention looking at Hans's grave, I think. Just don't know where to look. I'll try a couple of the bigger ones in the foreground. It's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Or that one. I mean, it's not like I'm going to switch games in the middle of this one, but it could be on the next poll after the poll that's currently running. So, side note, I'm not sure how many more games I'll manage to play before
That won't.
August.
It's locked.
So I should really get the August poll going. But I've been a bit busy, so... For those of you who don't know, it's uni exam season. Just that exams are mainly happening online. So doesn't really matter where I take them, but I still have to study for them. So. Actually, haven't checked the raves out here. Maybe it's just on the other side. No, doesn't seem like it. Okay. It's interesting how many of these games have you going to a graveyard to look at gravestones. There are several Monkey Island games that had that. There's... well, Gold Rush had that. Gabriel Knight had that. I'm sure there are lots of other games that I'm going to remember later on, but those are the ones that come to mind. West Glory. Yeah, probably one of them. I just can't remember which one. Okay. What? Okay, I've got a key. That's not weird at all. Interesting place to hide your house key. Anything else? That thing? It's kind of difficult to see when I can use the handle because of the mouse cursor that's in the way. Because I'm currently playing at Windows, so
This thing's
I'd
jammed.
have to hide the mouse cursor, and it's a whole thing with this game.
I can't open it.
None of those work. Interesting. Oh, there's a keyhole right there. Does that work?
This thing's jammed.
Here we go. Got something. Don't want any of that stuff. Okay. And that one, but I think that's it. So, I've got a bunch of punch cards. I don't know why I need them, but I've got them now. So, time to make things. Can I look at them? Nope. I cannot. Lovely. Time to make random things out of random materials. Maybe those things are somehow going to help with stamping the contract thing. It's logic. I mean, even when she's jogging, she's a bit slow. Which makes this game take a while. Yeah, the key isn't for a door. It's... I already used it. So. Is there that much of a delay? Thank you for the follow. But yeah, I've already used the key. Anyways, that gate. Was it over on that side? Yes. There we go. Well, I got the key and already used it. I got it and used it, like, in the same room to get these. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be a proper key for, like, your front door. But I haven't really spent much time looking at old keys and what they're for. But I guess from the shape you could assume that's not a very secure key. Yes, yes, I have this thing, which even has the company/family name as part of the item name, so yeah, that's for one of the automatons. I know that, yes. So... anything I can do with this thing now? Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe one of those is going to make a new music cylinder thing? That would probably be helpful. Also, why did the priest, I guess, lives there, why did he just dump all of these in separate drawers? I mean, it's a locked dresser, and they all use the same key. So if someone was going to get into the dresser, why wouldn't they just take all of them? Doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't need to use this console.
No? Why not? Got punch cards.
I don't need to use the...
Fine. Guess I need to do something else first. Not a huge fan of when these games slow you down artificially by just going, yeah, don't do that yet. Do that later. You need to do stuff in the exact order that we intended. It's probably easier to test play if that's the case. But what's room warping? I don't think I've heard of that. So any other place where I could use the key? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this game does not have that. None of that fancy teleporting. Well, she doesn't want to try the console. I wanted to try it. So... what could I interact with? That's just walking over there, I think. Yeah. So... I think it said the front door is locked. Oh, the thing in the back with the ladder. I think that might
Door's
take the
locked.
key.
But I've still got to get in there.
So... the automaton that's responsible for extending the ladder. I think that might work. I'll see. So...
I need a key.
yes. How about this key? It worked! Yay! Wait. Is there a window up there? Why am I just climbing all the way up to the roof? Okay. Whatever. So... I'll save... and return. Is that a spider web right there? And that one there too. Seems like there might be some cobwebs in here. It's just a bit difficult to see. Who knows? To be honest, I did not pay attention to the climbing animation. So... boxes? Nope, just moving to that side. I need to get better at interpreting what all these mean. Oh. Found something. And a journal? How many? Oh wow. Do we really want to read all of that? I mean... it's a lot of reading. Well, I guess I could do a poll on that. So... there. I'd say those are the main options here. Yes, I've got a clicky keyboard. I know, I know. But, yeah. The options are reading it right now, all of it. Just reading it later. So just putting it back, going back to it. Or reading it in chunks, starting now. Or, yeah, just leaving it and pretending I never saw it. For now, I'll just close and look around while I'm waiting for the pull. It seems I took it with me. Yes, I did. Lovely. So I won't even have to travel back to this place. That's way better. Yeah, reading in one go is, well, going to be a challenge if I do that. I can definitely tell you that. Because that's a lot of reading. So what's this thing? Ink bottle. Seems that's the exact thing I was looking for. So... Yes, of course. Who doesn't want an automatic journal reader? And I'm sure it's available for a very reasonable price, too. So, where does this lead? Seems very dark in here. It's up here. Oh, okay. Light switch. That makes sense. Oh. What's going on here?
Mammoth. You draw mammoth for Momo?
Ah, Momo, it's you. You scared me.
Even. Alright. I mean, there's probably someone who's read it all in one go. And did that during a playthrough. Or separately. Either way, I guess I'm going to read it in chunks. So, I'll just pretend I can sit on this chair while I read the journal. And save before starting it. So, reading time. Let's see, how many pages does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36. Okay, 36 pages. It's gonna take a while. So, how big do I want the chunks to be? I'd say I'll read at least, like, 6 pages at a time. We'll see how easy it is to read. But yeah, you guys have decided I'll be reading it in chunks. So, once again, interesting how she's using the US date format and writing in English. Despite there not being any evidence that she grew up in the US or that English is her first language. But yeah, let's not think too much about that. Yes, I know it is. I'll just keep on pointing it out because I think it's funny. So. It's from the 1930s, this journal. That's some great sticky tape, because it's still working. But some very sloppy application of the sticky tape. Because, I mean, the picture is partially sticking out. Oh well. Wait, how old would she have been back then? This game is set in 2002, I think? So it wasn't just released then, I think it's set then? So she was 86. 2002 minus 86. So she was born in 1916, I think? Yeah. Which means that in 1930, she was 14. I think my math is correct. So... anyways, we're reading the diary of a 14-ish-year-old who died, well, at the age of 86 yesterday. So, just an interesting premise. Anyhow, May 14th, 1930. Yesterday, something terrible happened. I do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, so I've decided to write it down. You, dear diary, are now my confidant and sole guardian of my secret thoughts. Hans lies in the next room, teetering between life and death, and I am terrified. Oh, the injustice of life. First, well, her mum, then Hans. Please, dear Lord, don't take my little brother away as well. May 15th, 1930. Hans made me promise to keep this secret, but its burden is too heavy. I know I can tell you, though, dear diary. I discovered a cave in the mountains. A marvelous cavern with ancient paintings on the walls. Only prehistoric man could have painted them, because they were depictions of mammoths, which are prehistoric creatures as well. That much I know. I hate mammoths now. Well, that seems a bit silly. She's never seen one, but she already hates them. Anyways, it's all because of them and because of that stupid prehistoric children's toy. Why, Hans? Why did you try and take it? And why did I let you climb up there? It's my fault you're in a coma now. Hans, if you die, I do not know how I could ever forgive myself. May 16th, 1930. Hans has still not regained consciousness. Father cannot sleep, and Gertrude cries all day long. Outside, the heat is suffocating, but inside the house is icy cold and dismal. I still have hope, though. Wait. The heat is suffocating in May. Honestly, the climate in this area doesn't seem like it would be that bad in May, but whatever. Yeah. Still have hope, though. I know my brother. I know his strength. He will pull through. He never gives in. I don't know who Gertrude is. Maybe, like, his, well, her aunt? Or, like, Annie? His maybe stepmother? Could be that the father remarried. Don't know when their mother died. Either way. May 17th, 1930. I cannot think of anything else but Hans. In all my waking and sleeping dreams, I see his fall over and over. I see his head hitting the rock and his so pale face softening. I've taken refuge in the attic. It's the only place where I can find any peace wrapped up in all my memories. Well. May 18th, 1930. 5 days have passed since the accident, and Hans has still not opened his eyes. Seem like this is unbearable. Please God protect him. Take my life, not his. Oh wow. Well. May 19th, 1930. I feel so desperate, so alone. I want to snuggle up in Father's arms, but I dare not. He's just so impassive. Oh, Hans, don't leave me here. May 20th, 1930. It has happened. Hans has come back to life. He opened his eyes and uttered my name. My name! Do you realize this is the happiest day of my life? I want to take to the streets and sing. Proclaim my joy to the world. Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. May 22nd, 1930. How wonderful, how beautiful life is. Gertrude and I cannot stop breaking into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Okay, might be their sister? Or, like, maybe her best friend or something? Definitely, it seems like they're around the same age. I still don't know who it is. Anyways, Hans even wolfed down his meal today. I knew he was tough, my little brother. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. Seems the mood was a bit tense. Anyways, so next entry is 3 days later. I haven't really been paying attention to how they're spaced. So she was writing every day up until the day he woke up. Then skipped a day. So, and then 3 days, and then skipping more days. Anyways. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I'm totally absorbed in Hans' recovery. I've scarcely 5 minutes to myself to return to my refuge and scribble down these words. Makes sense why she wasn't writing too much. May 29th, 1930. It is very curious. Whether Hans is hungry, thirsty, or if he wants something, he cannot stop saying my name. He can't bear it when I leave him, even for an instant. Gertrude thinks that I should move my bed into his room to help him sleep better. I hope that Father will agree. June 2nd, 1930. Today was the first day that Hans has left the house. We went for a short walk in the garden, but Hans is still very weak. The doctor said we should be patient and shouldn't rush him. It's so hard though. I hope so much that life can return to how it once was. I'll check how many pages I've already read. So, oh, I've already read 6 pages, so I'd say I'll do 2 more. And then we're looking around some more. And yeah, we'll see. So, June 20th, 1930. Hans has been out of his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much and has difficulty moving. He sits motionless for long periods of time, his eyes wide open, as though lost in thought. I've often had to call his name several times before he reacts. Then he will smile, and when he does, the moment is magic for me, and I couldn't possibly be happier. June 22nd, 1930. I had to talk to him. The burden was too great. I asked Hans about the accident and the cave to find out what he could remember. He could utter only one word, mammoth. Thank you for the host. How are you doing? So, he could utter only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that he frightened me. I'm wondering where Momo is from, because there seems to be some correlation between how Hans is described and how Momo seems to act. But I don't know. It's going alright. How are you doing? Long time no see. September 15th, 1930. I go back to school today, and for the first time in my life, I'm dreading it. I'm afraid of leaving Hans alone. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm there. So yeah, it does seem like Gertrude is some sort of caretaker. Yeah. Don't know if she's hired to do so or if she's part of the family. I'm currently not melting, but it is 27 degrees, so it's not like it's chilly in here. So, where was I? October 20th, 1930. While I was doing my homework yesterday evening, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and a blank sheet of paper and, curiously, he started drawing. It's the first time since his accident that he's done anything but daydream. Guessing he drew a mammoth. Who knows? She didn't do an entry on Halloween. I'm disappointed. So, next entry is the 28th of October. So, the last entry is in 1938. So, if she was 14 here, that means she kept that journal till she was 22? I think? So... well, I'm still going to read through the rest. Well, the water I drink is a bit colder than it used to be, like, I don't know, 3 months ago. Because due to my wisdom tooth surgery, I kind of had to get used to drinking cooler beverages so that the inflammation doesn't get any worse. But yeah, still definitely drink warm water. But I'm trying to get used to colder water again. So we'll see. Speaking of drinking, some water right now. I mean, drinking water is good in general, just because you need to stay hydrated. Don't know what this stuff is. Well, no, losing my wisdom teeth meant that, for medical reasons, I was instructed to not drink a bunch of hot water all the time. So, yeah. I mean, wait, Celsius? Because both of those would be steam. He's shaking that page around quite a bit.
What are you doing in here?
Momo want mammoth picture, like Hans picture.
Sorry, I haven't got a picture of a mammoth with me.
Take paper and pencil and draw mammoth for Momo.
You don't give up easily, do you?
Okay. So,
You remember me, don't you? I'm Kate.
Draw mammoth for Momo, please.
You must find me a bit rude turning up places uninvited where nobody knows who I am. See, it's kind of my job, you know, to get involved. But don't mind me. Just carry on with what you're doing.
Momo not mind. Anna kind, never angry.
That's right. She won't be angry. Not now.
fair enough. Well, thank you for translating it to those of us who don't understand Fahrenheit. Because I can't really do the conversion in my head. I can do some amount of math in my head, but I'm usually best with pencil and paper. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? And what were you streaming? We've just read like, well, close to a third of a journal. That was fun. So. What's wrong with math? You're playing Undertale. I think I tried streaming that game once, but I didn't get very far. So. Is it your first playthrough? I personally haven't really watched Undertale that much, so might still do a blind playthrough of that one day, because I'm pretty clueless about it. 5 years ago. Fair enough. I don't think I remember much 5 years later, so. Oh. I hope it's going well. Like I think I've heard that the game has different endings? So. That's an interesting concept. Not a lot of the games I play have that. I mean, some of them do. So like, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, that one had several different endings. Either way, might still play that at some point. Don't know when. And I don't know for sure if I want to play it. Not exactly retro. But it's not like I only play retro games. I just don't know when I'd play it. Anyhow, are you talking about Undertale, or are you talking about, I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream? Like, is it But I Must Scream or And I Must Scream? I think it's But I Must Scream. Yes, yes. I have played Golf with Friends, but like, I don't think I've ever streamed that game. So it's not like I only play retro games outside of stream. Because, I actually play separate games on and off stream for the most part. There's that. Anyways. Shit.
You're a sweet kid, Momo, but I can't draw, least of all mammoths.
Draw mammoth easy. Hans draw mammoth. Anna draw mammoth. Kate too.
I mean,
Who's Kate?
maybe I could
Oh,
do a quick
she's Kate.
squiggle of
Fine.
a box, say, that has a mammoth inside.
No, Momo want a real mammoth.
My goodness, you are one stubborn boy.
A box that has a mammoth inside. You want me to draw a box that has a mammoth inside? I mean, I could try. Or should I draw a mammoth? Or is there... Fine, a mammoth then. Currently there aren't any drawings in the bottle because, well, both an exam and a flight, so it kind of, well, erased the other stuff. So, there's that. But they do stay on the Discord, so. While they may not stay on the bottle forever, they do stay on the Discord. Anyways. Do you have a preferred color for your mammoth? We've got, black, brown, green, blue, purple, red, orange, and yellow. So. Yes, the penguin is still on the Discord, but as I said, well, it stays there for as long as it stays on there. There's no guaranteed number of days or streams that drawings stay on there because life happens. So, any color? Alright. Hello, how you doing? We're about to draw a mammoth, so there's that. So, which color should we choose? I mean, I think mammoths are brown, so I could go for brown. I've never drawn a mammoth, so should be interesting. Yeah, could be. But if I'm supposed to go for the accurate color, most people think that mammoths were brown. So, close enough. I'm guessing that the drawings they're talking about are pencil drawings, so I guess black would also work. But anyways, time to try and draw a mammoth. I don't even know what a mammoth looks like. I think I might need a reference picture. Or should I try and do it without a reference picture? I mean, might be more interesting that way, I guess. Oh, and for those of you who don't know yet, yes, there is something different about the background. It's not just you. Yes, basically. As if I know how to draw an elephant. I'll just do it without a reference picture, and we'll see what happens. So... Wait, I don't think I've ever drawn an elephant. Or at least not recently. So. It's gonna be interesting. I think I'm mainly going to draw the head of the mammoth, but... So. What kind of ears do they have? No clue. I'll just draw some sort of ears. It looks like an elephant with a weird haircut. Close enough. So, keep in mind, I'm bad at drawing, and on top of that, I don't have a reference picture. And I don't spend a lot of my time looking at mammoths. So. It's, interesting. I don't think it's going to get much better, so I should probably call it here. I'll just make it a bit more fluffy. Now it looks like it has a beard, kind of. It's fine. Well, I'll try and draw it a body. It's gonna be a big mammoth. But I'm not going to put that much effort into the body. There. So. There we go. I'm not sure the light is going to have an easy time with it. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe I can get my phone to act as a flashlight to get the camera to focus on it. I'll try. If not, it's just going to be on the Discord. Let's see. There? No. Doesn't really work that well. No. Yeah, I'll just post a picture of it on the Discord. I tried. But yes, we have a mammoth now. I'll take the picture right now, just to make sure that nothing's going to happen to it. But I'll post later. So, it's a drawing of a mammoth head and body that I didn't put as much effort into as the head, with the word mammoth in quotes underneath it. Because, well, well, drawing on paper is boring. Why would I want to draw on paper? But yeah, I'll have to figure something out about, well, because why wouldn't you want to draw on a bottle instead? No? I don't. Why? I've never really watched sports. Well, I've never really gone out of my way to watch sports. I've been in the same room as TVs that are playing sports. But I myself have never actually, like, gone out of my way to get information on that stuff. I have practically no clue about the professional sports. Yeah, it's not something I watch. I don't really care about it. I know some of the rules, but I only have a very basic understanding. So. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of places where TVs are on. I mean, even you could walk past a bar or a restaurant and see part of a football match on the monitor. Yeah. Or, well, soccer match. Point being, it's not really something I watch. So. Help?
There's something I'm looking for, but I don't quite know what. I need a clue, anything that might tell me where Hans is. You want to help me, don't you?
First, you draw mammoth for Momo.
And if I help you, you help me, right?
Momo know Kate is kind. Kate draw mammoth for Momo. Then Momo tell Kate secret.
You've got a secret?
First, draw mammoth for Momo.
Well, I mean, I said football first, but I said soccer just... Well, for those of you who might be confused about which sport I mean. But I kind of use the words interchangeably. It's not like I spend that much time talking about football on a regular basis. It's just that recently I've talked about it more than I otherwise would. So. Like, it's just been on the news more and stuff like that. If I understood it correctly, it was the first time ever that Austria won a match in this particular competition. In all the years the team has played in that one. So, yay. And they lost the match after that, so. But they were going on about how much of a historic event that was, that they won once. So, it was interesting. Yes, sometimes I follow the news, but most of the time I don't really watch that closely. Anyways, so...
Do you know if Anna came here often with Hans?
Momo want mammoth picture, like Hans' picture.
And yes, I'll go through all the dialogue
I met
options.
someone real interesting in the factory. A kind of robot called Oscar. Now, he told me about a train. Anna didn't tell you where it was going, did she?
Train! Train! Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Woo!
Momo, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay then.
What's going to happen to you now that Anna is gone?
Momo big now. They want Momo live at inn. Momo don't want. Momo take care of Momo.
From what I've seen, you look pretty resourceful.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know how the qualifications work. I just know that, well, they said they never ever want a match in it. So. I was very amused about that part. But I can definitely tell you that, over here, people seem to care way more about football. I can't remember, seeing nearly as many football-themed items at stuff like grocery stores over in Austria. And I probably know why now, because, well, seems they don't spend that much time in those competitions because they just get kicked out immediately because they lose. So,
It must be fascinating to live in a village full of automatons.
What I do.
Automatons made by hand. Difficult work. When Momo big, he do like hands. Momo friend of automatons.
I'd say I'm talking more about like the context, not so much about itself, but
Tell me, Momo, did you come here a lot with Anna?
Mm-hmm. Anna like Momo. Anna like hands. Anna on journey.
I mean, yeah. So, skiing is way more popular over here. Well, skiing and, like, well, over here, over in Austria. Skiing and, Formula 1, I think, are more popular in general. But people still watch football a lot too, so. I'm not really the person to ask. I don't watch any of them.
Momo, I've got to go now. But see you later, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I'm over in lots of places. I mean, my background is in one location, I'm in the other one, so over here could be anywhere. Because, I mean, this place is two places combined, basically. So, I'm confusing myself. Anyways, can I actually use that to draw a mammoth? Is there a table or something? Not really. Do I need to find a drawing of one? And then try and copy that? Because I don't seem to have a use option. Go that way. Is there a desk? Or something that looks like a mammoth? I can't look at that again. I just don't watch sports. So my favorite one would be walking and running and swimming. In the sense that it's just actually doing the sports yourself, not watching other people do them. So. Yes, and sitting, obviously. But I do walk fairly long distances, so. I wasn't talking about just taking a 5-minute walk. I was talking about like a 2 or more hour walk. So. Extended walks. I don't really go running. I've tried several times, but I guess my lungs just don't like the air outside. Either that or, well, maybe it's about, like, having to watch out for cars and stuff. Running is more of an indoor activity for me. So, exercise machines and stuff, and, well, used to run in, like, gym class inside. Yeah, it could be running at the wrong pace. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't really got... Oh. I haven't really gotten into running outside. Why do you miss your treadmill? Did it go on vacation? Why do you miss? Not why did you miss? Yeah. What happened to it? Ah, okay. A mini golf championship. Well, I have played mini golf. I haven't played like proper golf. But I did enjoy mini golf. I've also like played darts. I've gone bowling. I've gone skiing, ice skating. Yeah, I've tried all sorts of different types of sports. None of them really stuck. I mean, to be honest, I'd say there's a huge difference between stuff like golf and darts and running. But so, how do I draw on that thing? Oh well, I guess I'll just climb out the window and see if I can use the ink. I can't remember what weight of bowling ball I used, so might have been a kid size, honestly. I mean, I'm basically the size of a 12-year-old, so. If I try and use, like, a bowling ball that the average guy could use, well, my hands are a different size than theirs. So, wouldn't... There's no real way for it to fit both me and them, so yeah. There's a good chance that the kids' bowling ball would be the one I'd go for. And with darts, is there a kids' version of that? Except the one with, like, balls are covered in Velcro. That stuff. What carnival? Do people actually go to those? I don't think I've ever been to one. I've been to like an amusement park, but not a seasonal carnival type thing. Like maybe I walked past one, but that's kind of it. Oh, I've been to like medieval fair type thingies. So. But I don't think that counts as a carnival. I'm pretty sure some places have them, but I've just never gone to one. So, yeah. I mean, I've seen the rides at like amusement parks that have them year round. Maybe it's just a thing that over in Austria they tend to have the amusement parks be stationary, possibly for safety reasons. haven't heard of that many carnivals that actually travel around. Except maybe like a small carousel. Yeah, I'm not currently in Austria, I'm just saying that that's where I've spent a lot of time. So... over here I think there are way more traveling carnival thingies. So... yeah, I think I walked through one, but didn't really look at it too much. But I haven't gone to one, I think. So... so, there we go. Does it actually work now? Yes, it does. Okay. There, there, and there. No, it's more that it was just... it happened to be in the spot where I wanted to walk. So, it was more of a coincidence that I walked through it. Oh, yeah. Good point. The spelling is... interesting. Considering that all the writing seems to be in English on everything, but, not
No
there.
need to get this document stamped twice. It's already been authorized.
Fine. But yeah, the document itself is in English. So, whatever. Yes, we're still on chapter 1. Isn't that great? These chapters are very long. So... I guess I'll just go back to the train station now. Is it that way or the other way? I think it might be the other way. Yeah, we might be done with the game by Christmas. If we're lucky. But it does seem like it's going to take a while. Unless I start taking a bunch of hints and basically use a walkthrough. But with my usual game style, well... oh right, diary time. Thanks for reminding me. So... time for some more reading. So, we left off... when he started drawing. So... yay! I'll get to practice my reading skills. I mean, it's useful, I guess. So. October 28th, 1930. Hans scribbles almost obsessively. Is all he will do, all day long. I feel it annoys father. Nobody else understands. I can say that Hans is trying to draw mammoths. I knew it. Well, I tried to draw a mammoth. I'd say I failed, but you guys will be able to judge that. So, November 16th, 1930. Today is my birthday, and Gertrude has made me an apple pie, my favourite. Well, I like apple pie too, so I can relate. The father has not returned home for lunch, and Hans doesn't want to leave his room. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. It's not my birthday though. So, my birthday is in November though. Who knows? Fine, whatever. I read it out loud, yes. I technically did say it. December 25th, 1930. Snow is falling. It is so beautiful. Great entry. January 10th. 20th. That's a new number. A caveman attacking the mammoth with spears. Sure. I'll just finish reading this page and then draw that. So, January 10th, 1931, the doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my little brother has fully recovered his faculties. It truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? February 9th, 1931. Is Hans's birthday. Today he is 11 years old. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than gained 1 more. Right, so he was 11 in 31. So they're 4 years apart, I think. Yeah, they'd be 4 years apart. Because if he turned 11 that year, he would have been born in 1920. And she was born in 1916-ish. So. Not really taking into account when their birthdays are, so. Might be like a year off. But either way, time to draw a caveman to attack mammoth. Which color do you want it to be in? Oh, cavemen. Purple. Alright. Purple caveman. Yeah, I'll choose that one. So. I mean, we won't know if they managed. We'll just know that they tried to kill the mammoth. But it's gonna be frozen in time, so who knows? Okay. How many should I draw? I've got 2 now. I think I should draw at least 1 more. Some spears in the mammoth. Well, I mean, that would then overlap the other drawing, so. I'd say that's different. Haven't really got policy on whether or not that's allowed yet. What do we think? Should that be allowed? I don't know how to draw a caveman who's been trampled. But, yeah. So. Close enough. So I've got 3 cavemen now. Assuming it still wouldn't actually show them properly if I tried to show them on camera. So, got a picture of them. And I'll be posting it later. So, yeah. 3 cavemen with 3 spears. Anyways, back to the game. Pools of blood. Oh wow. I mean, I guess maybe I should make it so that there could be more drawings overall, and then there could be like a giant, well, collaboration of different doodles on there. So it'd be interesting. But if I do, I'll probably make it so that it won't just be one person doing all the redeems. Yes, the doodle wars. The bottle doodle wars. So, I just think that might be fun. Speaking of which, I'll write that down. Because I don't want to change that setting during the stream. Just in case it messes stuff up. But, yeah, after the stream, seems like a good time. Yeah, it's just another reason to doodle on a bottle. It's way better than just doodling on separate pieces of paper. And you also don't waste paper. Alright. So. How many pages have we read at this point? Just 2, I think. Yes. More reading. February 24th, 1931. The doctor has just left. I saw him whispering with father. Their serious expressions worried me awfully. What could they be hiding from me? I'm grown up now. At the age of 15. Yeah. So, I wasn't even right. She was 14. in the previous year, and then it was her birthday, so yeah. At the age of 15, I can understand everything. I'm too scared to ask father what is happening. I mean, she might be able to understand it, but apparently she's too scared to actually ask about it, so that's saying something. March 15th, 1931. I've been thinking, and it seems to me that Hans's attitude isn't normal. The shock of the fall and his coma must have had much more serious effects than we first imagined. Hans, my dear brother, what is happening to you? April 4th, 1931. I've discovered the truth. Hans is stunted physically and mentally. I've eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, father, and Gertrude. Gertrude buried her tear-filled eyes in her apron, and father muttered the word retard under his breath. Well, isn't he a lovely person? Just a reminder. It's his son he's talking about. Sounds like a lovely household to live in for Hans. Might have been for the best that he was sent away, because... Ouch. How could he say such a thing? Good question. April 13th, 1931. It is Easter, and we're on school holidays. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from Father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. Yeah, well, he's apparently he doesn't have a very healthy coping strategy, so not wondering why that isn't working out for him. April 14th, 1931 is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans's fault. Mine, maybe, but not Hans's. I don't know how to make father understand. He seems full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. Hatred? It's been like, what? When did... So, May... and... like, a year later, he hates him. Alright then. Very reasonable adults in this story. May 14th, 1931. 1 year. 1 year has gone by, and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no signs of improvement, neither in terms of Hans's mental health or father's attitude towards him. May 30th, 1931. Extraordinary. Father decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will you find truly competent doctors. He must make Hans ready for the great expedition. I don't trust it. June 6th, 1931. No news from father and Hans, but I remain hopeful. I'm sure they will take good care of my little brother. Hans, not Han, not Hans. Well, Hans, and well, I guess I kind of skip over the D and hand. Anyways, you get what I'm reading, and you can also read along if you've actually got the video on and not just the audio. And if not, well, just guess which one I'm talking about. July 15th, 1931. They've returned. Hans rushed into my arms and started crying. It took me a long time to calm him down and get him to sleep. Father is still as... taciturn? I don't know what that word means or how to pronounce it, but... well. In context, assuming doesn't mean anything different, so, look. Oh, taciturn. Okay. Either way. I'm assuming he's acting the same way he did before, so. Yeah, nothing changed. The French doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. August 28th, 1931. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. The sun has put colour in Hans's cheeks. When I look at him, I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. November 16th. Thank you for the follow. Interesting emotes. I'm wondering what channel would require, 2 separate emotes of a bird in flight. I'd assume that especially if you have the thing where emotes pop up on screen, it looks kind of neat. Where was it? Yeah. November 16th, 1931. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. True, you do have 2 emotes that are, well, basically your character just turning around. So, how many have I read? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, spinning. Just Christmas, okay. I guess she didn't want to write the date that day. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack either. I lack neither. God be praised. Wait. Oh. She has both love and faith. She does not have science. I guess that's why Hans was the one designing the, automatons. I might be mean saying that, but... Oh. She didn't say anything about whether or not she's good at science, so... Yeah, I think I'm just being mean. January 12th, 1932. Father took Hans to the factory this morning. Hans is so afraid that I accompanied them. Fortunately, Father said nothing. I failed to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. I mean, technically, emote spam isn't against the channel rules or anything, so as long as you don't overdo it, it's fine. So, yeah. But if it's to the point where I can't see any other chat messages, just emotes, I might ask you to tone it down. But... well. If you're having fun. Anyways. So. Pray that accompanied them, failed to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. January, not factory. January 13th, 1932. I can read. Sometimes. Father left for the factory with Hans once again this morning. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. It's his way of resisting fate. February 17th, 1932. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with Father at the factory. I'm not exactly sure what he does there. He seems to enjoy it. I feel my brother's behavior has changed considerably. He's much less capricious. I'm sure that means something. I'm not sure what. I mean... Exploding into confetti. That's an interesting emote. At least it looks like confetti. I'll just assume it's confetti. It's more wholesome that way. Anyways. April 14th, 1932. I could cry. Hans has made me a present. A small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Lemming pieces. Well, I haven't played Lemmings, so... Okay. I guess lemming pieces look like confetti. May 20th, 1932. Both Gertrude and father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely tuned. My little brother is not such a retard after all. Saying air quotes is difficult, so I added the air quotes too. Anyways. But it seems he at some point started designing stuff other than mammoths. Anyways, I think I've read 8 pages now. Or have I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to go. Okay, I'll read like 1 or 2 more, I think. So. It's gonna take a while. If I read it all right now, so. I'll still continue doing it in chunks. But I'll just read a tiny bit more before I continue exploring. So. October 15th, 1932. Hans's mammoths now walk, raise their trunks, and wag their tails. It's incredible. December 22nd, 1932. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It's a shame he only makes elephants. Wait, are mammoths elephants? I mean, I guess they might be. Not sure if the way they're classified means that mammoths are like a subcategory of elephants. I don't know. February 11th, 1933. Father and Hans were locked in a long discussion yesterday. Or should I say, Hans was locked in one of Father's long monologues. As it is inconceivable that Hans should go to school like other children, Father wants to take him on as a worker at the factory. Okay. However, Hans will have to stop making his own little devices. Hans's silence, his half-gaping mouth and staring eyes finally sent Father off in a rage. Well. February 12th, 1933. I tried to broach the subject with Hans. I suggested he should obey Father. Learning a craft at the factory is his one chance to do something constructive with his life. Ouch. He's so gifted and takes so much pleasure in making automatons. But yeah, it's the one thing he can do to give his life meaning. his work at this specific factory with his father, who seems to not value him that much. Except for as, well, someone to help make the factory more popular. It's very wholesome, this story. So much pleasure in making automatons. He did not look like he wasn't listening to me, but I know he'll think about what I said. That's a confusing sentence. February 20th, 1933. It's not that Hans cannot speak, it's rather that he doesn't want to speak. He uses the least possible words for communication, except with me, but he's always very economical with words. Well, he's still very economical with words. Okay. Well, I guess that happens sometimes, but I'm not sure how Twitch decides who to give a gift sub to. I think they go for people who have been on the channel at some point, if they can. But, well, it could have been that you were just part of a raid or something. Or that they ran out of people who looked at the channel at some point. I don't know. May 15th, 1933. Incredible. Hans is not just satisfied with learning how the assembly line works, instead he has completely redesigned it. Father and, the factory guy are taking a serious look at his plans. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, Mr. Grips, because I'm not gonna say the French word, because I know I wouldn't get the pronunciation quite right, and we've been over this. July 10th. Keep on making new numbers. Oh, making up new numbers. Yeah. It doesn't for me. My first playthrough, so. But it does seem like an interesting game, just not a huge fan of some of the puzzles. But the storyline seems rather intricate compared to a lot of the other games I play. I mean, it's a silly story at times. Like, how this, well, lady, back when she was 14, she was already writing her diary in perfect English. So, yeah. But other stuff is way more difficult. You don't need to get the diary translated, but you need to, well, basically fake a notary approval thing to board a train. Either way. Yeah. They're taking a serious look at his plans. There. Okay. July 10th, 1933. It's gonna be the last entry I read for now. Still got a couple to go, but this way should only be one more chunk of reading the diary left. Father's wanted to talk to me about my future since I passed my exams. He wanted to send me to university because he says my intelligence is astounding. My heart was beating so loud. It is true, I do love studying, but I couldn't bear to be away from Hans. Oh, sure that's gonna work out. The not ever being away from him. I think they're in France, but it could also be Switzerland. Their name is, the same name as one of the, I guess provinces? You could call it a province. It's a bit big for a province. whatever. One of the parts of Austria is called the same thing as their last name. So, don't know. They're not generally called states, I think, but I don't know. Just not sure what the right word would be. So, can I use the punch cards now? What, the name? I mean, I've never really tried to translate it. I mean, part of it is a word. But to me it just seems like, where the name comes from is the name of a mountain. So, I have not researched this at all. I just know that, well, the name is Vorarlberg. I know there is a mountain, or there are mountains. Guessing it's more than just one mountain in, well, the entire German-speaking area of the world. Yeah. There is at least one mountain that's called Arlberg. So, yeah. It seems like it's based on the name of that mountain. And the second part of the name of the mountain, Berg, is just mountain. Okay, states. So, one of the states of Austria. Part of it is the name of a mountain. Basically there's a syllable in front of the name of a mountain. But otherwise it's the name of a mountain. So I'm assuming that there's some reason why that's the case. But I have not researched it, so
I don't need to use this console. Not yet.
I don't actually know. Just a guess. So it could have been that, like, it was named after that mountain because of, like, maybe there was an actual family with that last name who lived near that mountain and were named after that mountain, or the mountain was named after them. And then they just ended up naming the state based on all that stuff. Wild guessing. But yeah, not really something I care too much about, because it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there's Upper Austria and Lower Austria. So, yeah. Not all the names were that creative. And a lot of them are actually just named after, well, named the same thing as the main city in that state. Well, I mean, at least one that I can definitely think of off the top of my head. Yeah, at least one. Actually, at least two. Because, Salzburg and, well, Vienna, because it's its own state. But it's also a city. City. State. Thing. But I can't think of any of the other ones right now. Because I'm bad at geography. So, if there's another one that's named after a city, then whoopsies. Yes, well. Specifics.
It's me again, Oscar.
Hello, Kate Walker.
It's been a while since I've looked at the different coats forms, so I can't remember which one's which. Oh, I'm just generally bad at geography, even within Austria. My geography skills are about as great as my mammoth painting skills. Drawing skills. Your house. Pretty sure it's not in Austria. But other than that, who knows? Maybe it's on the moon. Or in a spaceship. Did you actually use a house as a spaceship? I mean, it would have difficulties taking off, but if you built it in space, it would probably work. Because you don't really have to worry about, like, air resistance if you're in space. Assume you could basically build it any shape you want. Don't know. Not, like, a space engineer or anything like that. I don't work at NASA for a reason. I'm not even sure that's the case, but... Oh. So, mission,
Oscar?
or no, help.
If you were in my shoes right...
My reasoning mechanism.
Why aren't we setting off, Oscar?
I must abide by regulations. Your ticket.
Yes, okay. So,
Don't think...
I'll go for... Oh, right. Saving first. Go. And... the release permit. Hope it doesn't crash.
Here. This is your stupid train release ratification, Oscar.
Thank you, Kate Walker. That is perfect.
Okay. And the ticket.
There you are, Oscar. Does this mean we can leave now?
I cannot accept this ticket for the moment, Kate Walker.
Why not?
Keep it.
I don't understand why we can't leave. I'd hate to think it's me that's delaying the train like this.
I do not wish to appear impolite, Kate Walker, but I am afraid that not all departure conditions have been fulfilled.
Okay.
If
What's
that's
it
a
this
joke,
time?
Oscar, it's not very funny. I really need to find Hans Vorarlberg as quickly as possible.
I
Yeah,
have
well.
strict instructions to obey. There are 3 spaces in the luggage compartment that are designed to accommodate 2 very important objects. The train can only depart when they are in place. Please excuse me now. I must return to my departure preparations.
Oh, I wouldn't want to break any rules.
Okay. Luggage department. Where's the luggage department? That way? That thing.
These shelves look as if they're made for valuable objects. These shelves look as if they're made for valuable objects.
Good thing I don't have any of those.
No point weighing myself down.
Is that her suitcase? Because I don't remember moving it over here. So... luggage compartment. Don't know where that is. I mean, I can't reach the door behind him, I think. That is a door, right? Handrail ends there, so... seems like it should be a door. So... any other part of the train that I can interact with? Except this one. Maybe the luggage compartment is further in the back. I think you'd put luggage in the back on a train, right? Maybe on the other side? Come on. So I'll try that way first. So I've been there. Guessing it's not at the start of the train. Well, the front of the train. So, yeah, doesn't seem to be anything I can do up there. And in there before. How about this thing? No? Seems like something I should be able to interact with, but no. No, doesn't work. So... kind of need to figure out where the luggage compartment is. Yeah, I think I need to figure that out first before I look for the items, because I'm missing 2 items in the luggage compartment, but... I don't know what those items would possibly look like. Be a bit lost. So... where's the luggage compartment? Oscar told me that they're missing, so that's why I know they're missing. I just don't know why. I also don't know anything about them. And I also don't know how to get to the luggage compartment. So, it seems like I'm missing something really obvious, so if anyone can tell me where the luggage compartment is, feel free to do that. I'm just bad at controlling this game. Maybe I should also turn my brightness up. Don't know how easy that's gonna be, but I'll try real quick. So, brightness. Because I mean, it might just be that I'm missing something because the monitor is not bright enough. So, gonna go for 100% brightness, so I'll be able to see most things, I think. There. Lovely. I can see things now. Let's see. No, nothing up there. I think that's what this connected to, not the wheel. So. So many ladders. I don't see anything that seems like I can interact with it. So, a bit tricky. I'll try inside the train again. Maybe I can ask him where the luggage compartment is?
It's me again, Oscar.
Hello, Kate.
Mission.
Why aren't we setting off, Oscar?
I must abide by regulations. Your ticket, please, Kate Walker.
Don't think for...
Okay, I'll show him the ticket again.
There you are, Oscar. Does this mean we can leave now?
I cannot accept this ticket for the moment, Kate Walker. Keep it.
I don't understand why we can't leave. I'd hate to think it's me that's delaying the train like this.
I do not wish to appear impolite, Kate Walker, but I am afraid that not all departure conditions have been fulfilled.
If that's a joke, Oscar, it's not very funny. I really need to find Hans Vorarlberg as quickly as possible.
I have strict instructions to obey. There are 3 spaces in the luggage compartment that are designed to accommodate 2 very important objects. The train can only depart when they are in place. Please excuse me now. I must return to my departure preparations.
Oh, I wouldn't want to break any rules.
Yeah. Of course not. So, where's that luggage compartment he keeps talking
It's me
about?
again.
Hello,
He doesn't tell me.
This train is amazing.
I am
Don't think...
Oh, the area with the shelves. Okay. It's a weird luggage compartment. Alright. So, thunder. Thunder. Okay. So there's something that should go here, and something supposed to go there. Cog wheels? No. No.
These shelves look as if they're made for... These shelves...
It looks more like a museum than a luggage compartment to me. But, oh. So it's more of a display area than a storage area to me.
No point weighing myself.
I had assumed the luggage area would be, well, not like this. But that seems more like the shelves in a store than like a place to put your suitcase. So, valuable items. Neither of them accepted the cylinder, so I'll assume Momo has one of the items. Or at least knows where it is. Just seems like kind of thing that I should expect with a game like this. I don't think there was anything else over here, but I'll check one more time. Actually, I think it might have been that way. No. Okay, that's the train station, so factory, the other thingy, train station, house. So, can I walk in through the front door now? I'm guessing I can't, but it's worth a try. Nope.
The door's locked.
Still wondering what those punch cards are going to be for. Yeah, that one's locked too.
But I've still...
I'll try the maze again.
Good morning.
So...
Oh, please.
Yeah, I don't get dialogue options there. Don't think there's anything I can do here. And the fountain just seems to be a way to block the path. It's a very strange maze, with a fountain blocking the path and locked gates. It's almost like they don't actually want people to use the maze. Yes, I do think I need a hint. I'm still trying to figure out how to actually draw a mammoth. So it
No
seems that's the next thing I need to figure out. I can't just use it on her. So... Was there something in the newspaper? Or maybe in brochure about mammoths. No. No. Does she have any drawings? No. Nothing even close to a drawing. Yeah. It just seems like that's the next logical step in figuring this out. Because Momo's bound to know something. He knew about Hans, so... Okay. I'll try it there then. So... anything that looks like a table? Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not a huge fan of pixel hunting either. But, I mean... I'd say there are worse things. So... there's something on there, but I don't think it's supposed to be a mammoth. I would want to try, like, on a flat surface, so this table seems like the right spot. But apparently it isn't. I mean, I've tried. Doesn't seem to work though. Looked at the table before. Can't do that anymore. It looks like it would fit her. I mean, it's probably meant for kids, when it comes to the size, but it seems like it should be fine. Sure. 'Cause, I mean, I've already tried to look around in here. I'm assuming I'm either looking for a surface to draw on, or a picture to use as reference. A wooden beam, really now? Oh, there! Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's blurry. That's not exactly a drawing, but close enough. But yeah, thank you, because that would have taken me a while. So, drawing. Beautiful. I'd say no. This one is way more realistic. Mine is cartoony. And, well, not that great. But I tried. And that's what counts. Okay. You're just gonna leave, or...
Thank you. Momo happy. Now follow Momo. Momo show his secret to Kate.
But yeah, I basically drew a fuzzy, badly drawn elephant. So, where did he go? Through the front door? No.
The door's locked, but I've still got to get in there.
Or did he run into the maze? I hope so too. But I think he ran that way. Yeah.
Good morning.
I can't ask where Momo went. I was hoping the dialogue would have changed, but it hasn't.
Oh,
So. Yeah, exactly, so. I'm pretty sure he ran towards the front. Which is why I checked that first. So I guess he just ran to a different part of the area. So, not so much to the front of the building, but just off onto the path. There he is. Well, at least, she's getting plenty of exercise. There he is. Of course he can just open it. No, I'll run. This area is pretty. There's a boat. Okay. So... here?
There you are, Momo. This is some walk you've taken me on. I've got to say, though, it sure is mighty pretty.
Momo come here often. Momo like make splash in water.
Alright. He might be.
Momo,
So, I want to save. So I'll do that.
Momo.
Momo,
Because of you, Momo, I look more like an explorer than a lawyer now. If Dan could see me, I don't think he'd like what he saw.
Momo don't know Dan.
Why does she look like an explorer now? I mean, I guess it has been raining, which explains all the puddles, so she might be covered in mud. But then she's just a lawyer covered in mud. That doesn't necessarily make you an explorer. Especially if you didn't take along clothing that would be appropriate for the area you're exploring. Which I don't think she did.
Why have you brought me here?
Mammoth doll in cave. Very important for hands, Anna say.
Cave?
Okay.
What cave? Where?
Momo not liar.
So, I'm looking for Mammoth doll in a
Now we're
cave.
here? What do we do?
Kate and Momo throw stones in water.
Momo, we're here because of the cave. Something to do with the cave.
Momo and Kate, friends.
Tell me, Momo, do you really think that after all these years, Anna's brother is still alive?
Anna always say hands go away, but hands come back maybe.
Tell me, Momo, I met someone real interesting in the factory, a kind of robot called Oscar. Now, he told me about a train. Anna didn't tell you where it was going, did she?
Train! Train! Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Woo!
Momo, it's okay, it's okay. You are a strange one, Momo. I'm beginning to see why Anna Vorarlberg liked you.
Momo, Momo look like Hans. Momo very proud.
Okay. So, I'm not the only one comparing Momo to Hans.
It must be fascinating to live in a village full of automatons.
Automatons made by hands. Difficult work. When Momo big, he do like hands. Momo friend of automatons.
Tell me, Momo, did you come here a lot with Anna?
Mm-hmm. Anna like Momo.
What?
Anna like hands.
Choo choo.
Anna on journey.
Momo, I've got to go now. But see you later, maybe.
Okay, so there is a bit of a path going that way.
I can't go that way.
Well, not much of an explorer now, is she? Can't even walk through a tiny bit of water. Wait, can I drain the water?
That must be broken. I've got to get a helping hand here.
How about the cogwheels? No? Wait, I'll just ask Momo, I guess.
Momo,
Seems
I've got
like it,
something
yes.
else I want to ask you.
Momo listening.
Help.
Can you help me, please?
What do?
Help me open the dam.
Momo's strong.
Okay. Whoopsies.
Oops.
Alright. Now what? Broken lever.
That looks broken.
Oh, really? Can't use the broken lever on it.
That looks broken.
Now what? Can I get more help?
Momo,
Can you help me?
what do?
Help me open.
Damn broken.
Yes. Yes, it
Momo?
is.
I've got.
It is indeed broken.
I can't go.
I mean, the water isn't that deep. So she could just take her shoes off and walk through it if she doesn't want to get her shoes wet. It's not that difficult. Anyways, I've got more journal to read. So let's get back to that. Well, I mean, she can keep her socks on. I'd say socks dry quicker than shoes do. Considering one of them actually ends up in the washing machine on purpose. The other one, not so much. But I do think some people put fabric shoes in the washing machine. But I assume they wouldn't last that long if you do that. So... we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 pages to go. Yes, just like socks. So... should I do the 16 pages in one go? I mean, I could try. But at this rate, we might not finish this chapter until next stream. Because currently I can't do super long streams, since I also need to do stuff like study and write a paper. Yeah. Hence, no super long streams until I'm done with exam season. Shouldn't be too long, but yeah. But yeah, I still have a few weeks of exams to go, sadly. But I'm trying. So... let's see. This is the last one I read. For not wanting to go to university. Fits the current theme. September 2nd, 1933. What a ghastly summer. I've been permanently torn between my desire to go to university and my refusal to leave my brother. I talked about it with Hans, but he said nothing. That same evening, I found my own little mammoth broken. October 9th, 1933. Hans had another fit of hysterics at dinner again. Father announced that Hans's new assembly line would soon be finished. However, they have removed the automaton parrots that shout orders, as they were deemed superfluous. Hans was livid. He hurled his soup dish to the ground and stormed off to his bedroom. What will happen between the both of them when I'm not here? October 17th, 1933. Despite my scruples, I'm finally leaving. Hans has not talked to me for a week. Father would not understand if I told him why I wanted to stay. My heart is so heavy. So. Basically, Hans hadn't talked to her since like, before the previous entry. Oh, I'm trying! But the chapters are long and tricky to get through. So, I don't want to skip the reading now. I want to know where the story leads now that I've already started it. So, Christmas. It is so strange to be home. I'd never left home for such a long time before. Once we were alone, Hans did not stop talking. Words just leaped from his mouth. How he laughed at his excitement. He presented me with a delightful little ballerina to replace the mammoth, he told me. I was so touched that I started crying. Distance has done nothing to harm the strong bond between us. Yeah, apparently not. September 10th, 1937. It is strange to pick up this diary once more. At first my impulse was to tear it up, but I resisted, and instead succumbed to my second desire, which was to write for a while. I'm alone in my attic once more. I've been home for 2 months now, and after a summer spent living with the intense joy of being reunited with my brother, Hans has returned to the factory. Father has aged and Gertrude's arthritis cause her terrible pain. Yeah, so I guess Gertrude is definitely older than Anna, but I don't know how much older, and I don't know why she's part of the story. But yeah, I'm guessing stepfather or aunt. Or, maid. Like, slash, what's the word? Nanny? Something like that. Either way, she's still here. Yeah. September 13th, 1937. All in all, these last 4 years have been kind to Father and Hans. Their relationship is less tense. They still do not exchange much conversation, but they now have a thing in common, the factory. I'm beginning to feel a bit jealous. Silly, really. September 17th, 1937. Hans hasn't changed. To help Gertrude, he has designed a totally automated kitchen, and Gertrude can't stop moaning at the wooden puppets. Oh, how I adore them. October 9th, 1937. I went to go and see Father and Hans at work. I hadn't been to the factory for ages. It was strange how much has changed. I was very curious to see them set about their tasks. I like Father's new office very much. Hans has a small workshop on the first floor, crammed with odds and ends, unfinished robots and designs. Exactly as I imagined it, in fact. October 15th, 1937. Factory's working very well. Orders for toys keep coming in, spurred on by the run-up to Christmas. When I was at university, and I said my name was Furlberg, people would ask me if I had any relation to the factory. Now I know... What was that sound? Oh. Now I know the effect that Hans' genius has had on the factory's renown. November 2nd, 1937. To make myself useful, I started helping Father set his papers in order. The most extraordinary thing of all is that for the first time ever, I've the impression that the three of us form a real family. December 8th, 1937. Hans never ceases to surprise me. Between home and the factory, his behavior is so very different. In his workshop, he's serious, concentrated, a proper young man who keeps his eye on everything going on, constantly on the move and in control. One has the impression that each single toy is his very own infant. At home, he turns back into a child once more, and is either moody or happy-go-lucky, or a happy-go-lucky buffoon. Wait, how old would he be there? Born in 1920, so 17. And she would be 21. Okay, so, Christmas. The most wonderful Christmas of my whole life. Hans and I could not stop giggling like children beneath Father's disapproving glare. I know that he was only pretending, really. Our hearts are so full of hope. January 5th, 1938. Hans came to see me in my bedroom yesterday evening. I felt terribly awkward, terribly ill at ease. I might have guessed. Hans wants to leave. Leave... how did I pronounce it last time? I don't remember. Valadaline? Or something? I think was my pronunciation. I'll keep on sticking with that. The house and the factory. He wants to go travelling. He doesn't know where to or for how long. That's just like him. I was so shocked that I told him his plans were foolish. He left my room without a word. Without a word, his head bowed. January 7th, 1938. I thought he wanted to leave because of father. Not at all. It's because of the mammoths. He wants to go tracking mammoths. I thought he'd gotten over his obsession. I know my brother only too well. I wouldn't dream of telling him his quest is useless. It isn't worth it. He will not listen to reason. January 10th, 1938. 1938. I was so selfish the other evening. I returned to talk to Hans and ask him gently if he was sure of his decision. I already know what the reply is going to be. Nothing will make him change his mind. Okay. Gonna drink some water and then continue reading. So, next entry is 9 days later. So, wait a second, when was the first time he said that he wanted to leave? The 5th. Okay. So, January 19th, 1938. Despite my profound sadness and despair, I must help Hans fulfill the destiny he has chosen and announce the news to father. I fear the worst. January 24th, 1938. The worst was worse than my fears. My father's anger was terrifying. He shut Hans away in his workshop at the factory and has forbidden all visits except from Gertrude, who feeds him. What now? February 1st, 1938. Father decided that Hans should remain locked up for as long as it takes him to abandon his infantile decision. Gertrude tells me that Hans is very despondent, yet highly resolute. The worry is driving me mad. February 6th, 1938. As soon as Gertrude returns from the factory, I asked him to get news of my brother. Yeah. Well, keeping him there against his will. Yay! Way better than his previous behavior. Yeah. So much better. Her father is evolving into a great human being indeed. So, has to get news of my little brother. He doesn't say anything, he just fiddles with his bits and pieces, which he replies every day with a sigh. I've tried desperately to reason with father, but I know I'm just wasting my breath. February 9th, 1938. Hans is 18 years old today, and he's all on his own for his birthday. Gee. That's just lovely. February 20th, 1938. In secret, Gertrude delivered to me a small robot from Hans. It's a robot of us as children. It works with a small cylinder punched with tiny holes. I quivered with emotion as I turned the key. The message it gave was simple. He was telling me he loved me very, very much. Uh-oh. February 21st, 1938. Gertrude gave me a different tiny cylinder for today's toy. Hans is truly incredible. He has found a means of communicating between us and us alone in total secret. February 27th, 1938. My days are spent eagerly awaiting Hans's messages. He has now resolved to run away. He's preparing his escape like if it was a game. March 6th, 1938. Gertrude has returned and she's beside herself. Hans has disappeared. Father is not even deemed, I guess, to return to the workshop where he locked up his son, nor find out how he managed to escape. Just gave me a black look, as if he knew we were up to something behind his back. March 7th, 1938. It was beginning to dawn on me that, Hans is gone. I miss him so much. Lord, please protect my little brother and watch over him for me. March 11th, 1938. With Hans gone, Father now locks himself away, night and day, at the factory. The house is so gloomy now. March 12th, 1938. This morning I caught Father in the drawing room installing a coffin on a trestle. The sight of it made my blood freeze. What on earth is he up to? My questions meet only with stony silence and a permanent black countenance. She has some big words she uses. So, March 13th, 1938. Behind closed curtains, the drawing room with the coffin surrounded by huge candles has become a veritable funeral chamber. March 14th. This is ghastly. I've just understood what Father is up to. This morning, the priest came to pray before the coffin, and I finally caught on. Father is in mourning for the death of Hans. Father made the priest believe that his son was dead. How could he do such a thing? Okay, last 2 pages, and then we're done with the diary. March 16th, 1938. In the madness occasioned by his grief, my father grows ever more cold and calculating. He contacted his old friend, Dr. Schmall, who duly drew up a bona fide death certificate without even seeing the body. I dare not imagine what yarn he spun. March 17th, 1938. Hans's funeral will be officially held next Sunday. Father strictly forbade me to attend. The sordid masquerade makes me feel ill. But I cannot denounce the subterfuge, or else I'll display my father's mental instability to the world. The shame would kill him. That much is certain. March 23rd, 1938. I have to get away. Far, far away. April 23rd, 1938. No, I will not leave. I have thought long and hard. My life is here, next to my father. He needs me too much now. The factory needs me, because Father is incapable of running it now. Besides, I can only find peace of mind among Hans's robots. And how shall I know when he has sent me new ones if I'm not at home to receive them? No, I shall not leave. My destiny is to remain here and to keep watch. There. Done with the diary. That took a while. So, now we know all about that story. Had quite some interesting turns here and there. So, still need to figure out how this thing works. Or, well, how else to get the water out of the way. And then I still need to find the other item. But yeah, I'd say my reading is getting better, but it's still not perfect, so it's fine. Yes, I should probably drink some water. Good call. Yeah, my reading definitely used to be a lot worse. But it's better. So, good enough.
Momo, I've got something else I want to ask you.
Momo listening.
So... I don't think I can
Momo,
ask him anything
I've
else.
gotta go now. But see you later, maybe.
Because the dam is just broken. Where else would I use the broken lever? There has to be some place I can use it. And I don't think I can combine items. Okay. And I don't think the cogwheels work on it. Okay. Can I use the boat instead? Oh. Can I just use that as a new lever? No?
I could use one of the oars from this boat as a lever.
Okay. So, use a broken lever to get the ore. Nice.
Ugh. That oar is all dirty and wet.
Oh, what?
Ugh.
Really now? What am I supposed to do with it? What did she expect? Can I use the newspaper on it? No.
Momo, I've got something else I want to ask you.
Momo,
I've moved the oar nearer. Be a good boy and carry it for me?
Momo say yes.
Okay then. So she's not willing to carry it, but she's found someone else who will. Yep, exactly. Kinda, yeah. She also couldn't carry her suitcase upstairs. So... they think it was more about her
I've
just
got
not
something else I
wanting
want
to
ask you.
than her
Momo
being
listening.
actually physically unable to do that. 'Cause, I mean, she carried it up until that point. So... yeah, well, better late than never.
Can you help me, please?
What do?
I need a hand opening the dam.
Momo say yes. Momo strong.
Still in the first part. I'm trying to make more progress. But, well. Yes, first chapter.
Momo very strong.
Thank you, Momo.
So, is she going to be willing to cross the stream now? Well, where it used to be, I'd assume. Or is it too muddy for her? No, okay. Mhm. I mean, it seems like the kind of thing she would do. So, you're not that far off. Or like, take off your coat and lay it on top of where the riverbed used to be so I can walk in the coat instead. Yeah. Found the toy. Anything else? It's not. I mean, she might.
Hello?
Kate? Is that you?
Well, yeah, who did you think it was?
I didn't recognize your voice, that's all. Must be the distance or something. So, spill the beans. What's Europe like? You lucky lady, you. Honestly, I never get that kind of break.
Well, so far all I've seen of Europe is this tiny village, and frankly, they're not very hospitable. The whole case is getting really complicated. There's this surprise heir I've got to find.
I know. I talked to Lynn, who bumped into Joss, and she had coffee with the head honcho this morning. She didn't sound at all happy. The client's meeting him tomorrow, and when Marston tells him that the sale's not even gone through yet, whoa, you're gonna be pleased you're on the other side of the ocean when that bomb goes off.
Yeah, I get the picture. But so, how about yourself? What's up at work?
We lost the Farah Lou trial. I worked 5 months on that dumb case.
I remember.
So, for a bit of therapy, I went to Boomy's. The sale started yesterday.
Wow, lucky.
It was absolutely crazy, Katie. Absolute mayhem. You know that blue silk top I wanted? Guess how much I got it for?
I don't know, 250, 200?
$140. Just get yourself back here and I'll go down with you.
Like it's my choice. Look, I gotta go.
Call me soon, huh? I want a blow-by-blow account of every moment of your great adventure.
Get out of here. Look after yourself.
You too.
Yeah, I will.
Oh. I wasn't paying that much attention to it, to be honest. So, well. I kind of tune out when it comes to a conversation like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a really expensive one? Yeah. Pretty sure people who can afford it would pay that much. Or maybe people who get stuff custom made. Or if it's like incredibly fancy material. Or there's no way to get it any cheaper than that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you get something custom made, it would, well, cost at least that much. I think the most I've ever spent on a phone was like 300 euros? Something around there, I think. Which is still, well, enough money. Yeah. So, I've got one of the things now, I think. I'll put the mammoth there, and I'm hoping the game is going to give me another hint. Or any hint, really. Hello, how you doing? It's going okay, but I'm still on chapter 1. I'm already done replaying it. So. I just want to see what the game tells me first. If it's completely useless information, I might take you up on that offer. Or if it's no information at all. Yes, there is. There. Okay.
I don't need that for the time being.
I don't know where
It's
she
me
keeps
again,
items.
Oscar.
Hello, Kate Walker.
So, mission?
Why aren't we setting on?
I must abide by...
Ticket.
Don't
Fine,
think-
I'll show the ticket again.
There you are, Oscar. Does this...
I cannot accept this.
I don't understand.
I do not wish to appear impolite, Kate Walker.
If that's a joke,
I have strict instructions to obey. There are 3 spaces in the luggage compartment that are designed to accommodate 2 very important objects.
3
The train
spaces
can
for
only
2
depart when
objects.
they are in place. Please excuse me now. I must return to my departure preparations.
Wait.
oh, I wouldn't want to bring...
3 spaces for 2 objects? Why does one of the objects need 2 spaces? I'm guessing you don't know how expensive bras are. And how difficult they are to launder. So, Cheetos and hot dogs. And I mean, keys? Really now? Either you'd be staining it with the food, or you'd be cutting it to shreds with the keys. So, but yeah, a lot of them tend to be expensive and delicate. So, wash it at the wrong temperature and it's just ruined forever. Great. So, I'm not doubting that people use it as a wallet. I'm just saying that, stuff like keys seems unlikely nowadays. Because keys are sharp. So, you're gonna need to buy a lot of new bras that way. And it just sounds wildly uncomfortable. That's beside the point. Either way. I do think I'm going to need a hint for the second 2 item? So. Because the game did not tell me anything, and I don't know where to start. And, well... how should I know? I mean, I got these punch cards. Last 3 times I tried, it wasn't the right time to use the punch cards. I guess I could try it now again, see if it does anything. Yeah. Okay. Can do that. Strange elevator. Oh yeah, that's the thing I walked past. Yeah, I've gotten the 4 punch cards from that thing. From that building. So, I'll try the office again. Oh, and the punch cards.
I don't need to use...
Nope. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this game does not have that. It doesn't even have a look at item option. Unless it's stuff like a letter. So. I don't think they move. Yeah, this one's just music. So. It just seems weird. But this is all it does.
This thing's...
So I'm guessing I'll need to find another cylinder, but I don't know where. Maybe I can make one. Oh, I don't have a way to get the thing off of there. So, I was thinking it would be this thing, but apparently it's stuck.
This thing's jammed.
And I don't know how to change that. So it just seems like there's something going on that I still need to figure out. Really? Okay. So there's something else at the church. Yes. A teleporting feature would definitely help this game a lot. So... that way. What?
Hello again.
If you have 5 minutes to sit and talk, I could tell you a thing or two about the olden days.
I am sorry. I really am in a hurry.
It is a pity.
Yeah, it is very slow paced. I do like the atmosphere. Yeah, we're still trying to make the train move. You guys doing okay over there? So, is that door open now? No.
No point.
Yes, still in chapter 1. I know, I know. Still looking forward to, well, hopefully eventually getting animated emote slots. But for now, since I'm not a partner, and it seems to just be limited to partners for now. For now, I'll just have to wait. Yes, good point. I should save. No, no, not main menu, game. There we go. So... uh-huh. But the thing is, I don't just need to reach 100 viewers once. It's, you need to have a viewer average of 75 over a span of a month, not including raids and hosts, I think. So yeah, if I'm not totally mistaken, that's also why some people ask to remove the raid referral part of the URL if you raid into another channel, just to have the view count towards getting partnered. So.
No point.
I don't even know how to knit. I've tried to learn it several times, but with crocheting, I actually know how to do that. I'm not the best at it, but I know the very basics. Yeah, I know the very basics of crocheting, but I've tried to learn knitting, and I just keep forgetting it. Because I just can't get into a habit of knitting. Anyways, I'm not sure I missed anything in here. I mean, if I really can't figure it out, it's just going to have to wait till next time. But... Letter of confession? No. Like... Where would that be? I found a key that I then used on the ladder, but I didn't find any letters of confession. Where would I be looking for that? Oh, okay. I need to turn the crank on that drawer. I mean, I noticed there was something there, but... Okay, there. So, to my successor, the Vladimir Parish Priest. Sanctity of confession is a sacred vow, so these revelations are the result of much soul-searching and reflection. One day in March 1938, Rudolf Vorarlberg knocked on my door. I was a young priest then, and I was overawed by the dominant personality of the town's most important figure. I remember it was raining that day, and beneath his dripping hair, his face was the very expression of eternal pain itself. The gritted teeth, his eyes swimming with grief. He announced that his son Hans had just died. He wanted me to come immediately to bless the body. I entered the dark drawing room at the family home. The coffin was set in the middle, sealed shut. He explained to me that he wanted no one to see the body of his son. His son's badly mangled corpse had been discovered at the bottom of a precipice. It's presumed that he had slipped and fallen badly. Despite his 18 years of age, the young Albert did not have all his faculties. I believed him. I led the funeral and officiated the mass and burial. We buried hands for Albert with all the dignity and solemnity befitting such tragedy. Life indeed hangs by a thread, and I would have surely forgotten this episode only several years later, after her father's death. Anna had an accident at the factory and nearly died. Such a close call with death seemed to awake her in her a need to confess. What I heard that day would haunt my dreams thereafter. She told me the body of her younger brother was not rest in the family tomb for the simple reason that he was still alive. I had blessed and sanctified an empty coffin. I had assisted and sanctioned a masquerade staged by Rudolf Feilberg himself to exercise the blind hatred he felt for his son. His son had left, and he felt betrayed. A man who preferred to believe and make others believe his son was dead rather than accept the truth. This truth had shamefully deceived me. What kind of priest was I? What kind of priest would I become? Our merciful Father alone will be my judge. It is my duty to inform you that one of your flock is still unaccounted for. I'll leave this terrible secret in your hands to do with what you will. Sorry. And the key. And close and close. There we go. Hello, how you doing? I think it's the first time you've joined my channel, so welcome. We are currently trying to solve a bit of a mystery, as tends to be a bit of a theme with these games. Basically, this lady right here, she's in a village in Europe. I'm still not sure if it's France or Switzerland, but I think it's one or the other. She's there to basically get a toy company sold to a big multinational company, and turns out the owner of the toy company, she died recently, and they just found out that her brother didn't die, even though they all thought he was dead. So now I'm trying to look for the brother so he can sign over the company. It's a bit of a long story, but I'd say it's an interesting one. True, we haven't sued anyone. She's a lawyer, apparently. But so far she hasn't really seemed like much of a lawyer. But, well, I don't know.
Hello again.
If you have 5 minutes...
I am.
Okay, still does not want to talk to that guy. So I've got the key. Where should I use it? Maybe the factory again? Because I can't remember any other automatons that require a key. Don't already have one. So I'll try and use the key on the cylinder reader thingy? Yeah, true that. A lot of the screens don't do much. So, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't seem like I'm that close to the end of the chapter. I already have one cylinder, but it's just music. Yes, many thingies. An entire factory full of thingies.
I don't need to use this.
So, can't use the punch cards yet. Well, I've already got the one cylinder. I'm not sure why it would do something else now. Because just played a song. Just a song. That's it. So, seems I'm missing something. Yeah, I don't have the right cylinder, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, it seems like I'm not that close to the end of the game. I've still got a bunch of, well, the end of the chapter. And even then I can just start the next chapter after I finish this one, so yeah, I do think it's going to be the end of the stream. Because as I mentioned, it's exam season. I'm gonna be off to study. I mean, I've definitely tried, but it does seem like it's going to be a long game. Well, I tried. Maybe it's going to be, well, easier to get through the other chapters. Maybe it's just going to be a very long game. We'll see. There have definitely been games that took me a while to get through. So, yeah, I'll save off screen. Don't worry about that. Yes, exactly. It's just a matter of I need to also do other stuff. It would be nice if I had an unlimited amount of time, but I don't. What? What about Hollywood monsters? I'm confused. Either way. Let's see who's live right now. Thank you for the follow. I mean, I know his channel is very different than mine, but, well, he does sometimes stream retro games, just not right now, since he's still busy streaming, playing over it. I do think we are going to raid Goat. Wise_goat. Because I'm just wondering how that's going, and past couple of streams have been very entertaining. So, if you usually only watch retro, you can go watch something else, or maybe watch something different for for a change. Up to you. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye!